Hey guys, welcome back to the Fatal Wrath channel. It is podcast time. Yes, finally here. The podcast. Once again, we have got a lot to cover on this podcast. We have special guests on this podcast that is going to speak. Well, they sent in their clips, and we're going to listen to the clips and have a little discussion. All right. If you listen to the last podcast, the main subject was what was wrong with the TMNT Legends game. This time, we are going to go over everything that was right about the TMNT Legends game. But first, we're going to continue a little bit on what is wrong because we do have some comments about it from the last video that I want to share. We're going to take a moment to discuss that, and then we're going to go into what's right about the Legends game, talk to our guests, and then we have, I guess you could say, one other thing to discuss after that. Um, so, sit back, get ready. This is a TMNT Legends podcast. All right. So, going over just what was wrong with it. We had a long talk about it, and a lot of people spoken about it. There will be in the description a link to the last podcast just in case you missed it or if you need a refresher so that you can catch up on what was said and what everybody went over. On that last podcast, though, you go to the comments. I want to address those comments real quick and just have a fast discussion about that. Now, I know usually on podcasts you can just listen to them in your car, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you get a little bit of a visual. So let's bring up the visual here. All right. So we're going to address the second comment first that was left. Well, I guess you could consider it the first one. It's the one on the bottom. Brought in from Diveblast says, I love your videos, Wrath. I do find this game very frustrating. I like listening to Natasha and I hope to hear her in a future podcast. I hope she acknowledges my comment, please. The biggest frustration is the repeat challenges. They need to stop that or players are going to stop playing. So I very much agree with that, but Natasha definitely is here. She will be in this future podcast. I don't know if she's going to acknowledge your comment, but I'm definitely going to. The game can be frustrating, and the repeat challenges can also be frustrating as well too. And yes, they need to stop, or players are probably going to stop playing, or just get more frustrated, or just not play the game as much unless there's something they absolutely need to have. Anymore in some of the weekly reports I've been putting out, it's kind of been referring to previous videos on the playthroughs on these challenges, and it's just putting up a video to go back to older videos and review them to see the battles and see the playthroughs at that time. And you're going back to older videos if you want to see how to get through it. We should be seeing some new content out so that we don't have to refer back to old videos. Where is League of Leos? That is a Update X challenge, and we can go back to that one. Where is it at? I did inquire to Ludia about it, and they did say they was going to bring it up to somebody. So hopefully we'll see it soon. I guess we'll just see what happens on that. But yes, these repeat challenges, they are very frustrating, and it can cause somebody to not play the game if they absolutely have to, or not play it as much. All right, the other comment I want to address here is from Gokumon, and we appreciate you commenting on this so we could bring it up in the podcast. He says, appreciate the time and effort. My 2 cents on the game are just that. Additionally, Ludia devotes to Jurassic Park every week, so they do care, but only for certain games. Jam City isn't any different. That is true. They seem to put in all of their effort into Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, whatever it's called now, and they seem to just forgot about TMNT Legends, and it's frustrating. It really is. Why are we having to put more time into Jurassic World and not enough time into TMNT Legends? Because they care more about that game. It's also a licensing issue and all that stuff I've covered in previous videos as well too. Um, but I mean, they could do something about what they have with these repeat challenges. They don't need to have the same challenge happen every other week. We don't need it that often. So they need to work on their programming and they kind of need to fix that a little bit. All right. So if you guys want to add any more to this, go ahead and comment. Let me know. I can bring it up again in another podcast. But this is what I have for what was wrong with it. And now we kind of want to get into what is right with TMNT Legends. So we're going to go ahead and get into that subject now, and that comes along with a few guests. All right, so here we go with what is right with TMNT Legends. All right, so what I want to do to start off this everything that's right about TMNT Legends, I want to go ahead and bring our guest on here. Her name is Natasha, and she has been on here before to speak on these podcasts and to speak on some of the Legends videos that I have released that kind of talks about what to expect in the current week of playing the game. She did have some thoughts about what was right about the game, and I believe if you remember when we talked to her last, she was the social media who and she inquired about the Facebook page that TMNT Legends has and how they don't update that page anymore. So it's really hard to go on there and get any future schedules out of them because they're not posting that anymore. So the Facebook page has become a very much unreliable source. But she did have some positive things to say about the game and wanted to come back on. So let's listen to what she has to say real quick. Here is Natasha.
Hello, TMNT Legends. Natasha here again for the podcast. So, what do I think is right about the game? Well, there are a few. I know previously I mentioned a lot about what was wrong with it, but I do have some thoughts on what is right about the game. We recently had a tournament with Krang, which is a character that is hard to get DNA for. Some of the challenges that they repeat are good, such as the Super Shredder challenge. If you are a fan of this character, then repeating it is good, especially if you can't get to the higher levels to get as much DNA. The repeats gives you a chance to get DNA at an easier level. For Usagi fans, the Spirit, Tech, and Might challenges that have recently happened and will happen helps to farm that DNA and get that character to higher star levels. If some tournaments repeat, then that can get your character to higher star levels faster as well. That would really be the extent that I can get with on how well this game holds up when it repeats its challenges. Hopefully it does leave a positive light on this.
Thank you, Natasha. I think it does. Yeah, Usagi fans. Lately, we've had the Might Challenge, the Tech Challenge. Haven't seen that in a little bit. And the Spirit Challenge uh, happening over the current weekend and everything. So if you're trying to get that character to higher star levels or just trying to get him unlocked in general, should be a lot easier to do with how much it repeats. They did give us a Crane tournament. He's a tough one to get. So with that tournament, should make it easy to at least get him unlocked if you can get the 50 DNA. That is provided you had the at least about 20 DNA before, because I know it takes 70 just to get him unlocked in the first place. Super Shredder Challenge. Yeah, I do know a lot of Shredder fans out there. I am one. Repeating that one over and over again and get you that character unlocked. So the challenges can be good when they repeat. For some. But for a lot of the characters that they repeat over and over on the weekly challenges, it's like, well, it'd probably be better if it was like a Brain repeat or Usagi repeat. Not so much Nick Mikey every week. Nick Mikey's good, but you seeing how many times Mikey Madness has been in the game? You get what I mean, right? Yeah. Well, there's only so much you can do. But yes, those are some good points on what is so right about the game. And it's probably one of the reasons why people still play the game to this day. I play it to get the platinum shards and the mutagen. So it is doing something for me. All right. We have one more guest, real quick, that wants to speak on what is so right about this game. And he is in my Discord. And he also has his own YouTube channel. A lot of you that are in my Discord might know him pretty well. I am talking about the one and the only Effdash. Yes, he's on this podcast. He had some thoughts about the game, and he wanted to give his opinion on it. So without further ado, I bring you Effdash's thoughts on TMNT Legends. Here we go.
Hello, Fatal Wrath. Thanks for having me. Long-time listener, first-time caller. My name is Effdash from Effdash TV, and I had a hard time trying to answer this question. I remember listening to your other podcast about all the bad things about this game and thinking, there's some good stuff. But then when it came time to talk about them, I couldn't think of any. Now, that is harsher than the reality, but it would be foolish not to acknowledge the issues this game has. That being said, there are some things to love. First and foremost, this is the best TMNT related hero collecting team battler on the market, even after all these years. Would we love a sequel? Hell yeah, we would, of course. Until that time, this is what we've got, unfortunately, or fortunately, I suppose, and we should be thankful for at least that. Lastly, and I think this is really cool, there isn't any FOMO or fear of missing out with this game. Since there aren't any new updates coming out, everything the game has to offer is available to players. You can be silly like me and spend money for it. P.S. Don't do that. Or just have enough patience to grind it out. Either way, nothing can be missed, and there is a certain calmness that brings to a player's mind. So in the end, what does the game do best? Well, number one, it exists, and it offers all of its content to anyone willing to stick around or open their wallet. And honestly, I think we should be grateful for that. Well, that's my answer. Thanks so much for listening, Fatal. Check you next time.
Here Effdash. Happy to have you on the show, on the podcast. Yeah, a sequel? Well, this game has taken years for even us to get as far as we have on our own rosters within the game. Do we need a sequel? right now, a TMNT Legends 2, you know, that might be an interesting subject for a future podcast. How long would TMNT Legends 2 take if it took just as long as this first one? Years and years and years. You'd think that they would probably rethink it through and have you progress a little faster and not take as long getting to the end of the game. What would be the mentality on that if they were to make a second one? I mean, you got some other good points in there as well too for what's right about the game for sure. Um, especially the FOMO, not missing out on much. Yeah, you could take a break and there's not a whole heck of a lot to miss, especially if you already progressed enough where even if it's not with all the characters, you could still get a good handful of them to finish each one of the levels, be it the story mode, side quests, gauntlet, tournament, challenges, daily missions, whatever it is. You get a good handful. You win on all that. You're not missing out on a whole lot. I wish you were, but unfortunately, that's not how it is. You're just not missing out on a whole lot. I even took a hiatus about 3 weeks, 3 years back. 3 weeks. I wish. 3 years back. And I didn't really feel like I missed a lot ever since then. I do kind of wish I was working on my roster during that time because now I kind of feel like I'm a little bit more behind than where I could be if I was working on it every day. But then we got those Ludia scams, and when some of those actually worked, yeah, I actually felt like I got caught up on my hiatus, like I wasn't really missing out on a lot. Yeah, I don't know if those things really still work or not. I did put in a video on how you can inquire about it, but whether they still hand them out or whether they look at it like, oh, you got to go talk to Tapjoy, that's up to them. But yeah, you're not missing out on a lot. That is true. And what could we expect with the sequel if they ever make one? Let me know in the comments. See, got a lot to comment about this time around. So hopefully we will see your comments in there about continuing on what's wrong, starting on what's right, a potential sequel, how you're not missing out on a lot if you don't really tend to this every day. Other interesting games you can go play. Yeah, you know it's a true story. So let me know in the comments. Definitely would like to hear it. Um, Natasha wanted to come back and have a conversation with me. So this time around, we're going to kind of go a little bit back and forth and have a bit of a discussion here. And we're going to have more of a visual presented within this podcast here as well too. So we're going to welcome her back. And we have one last thing to talk about before we're at the end of the podcast here. Mainly, we're going to talk about the Discord server that I also have and how you can get in on it and join us in the community the new way compared to the old way, which was just getting in here through a link. You can still get in through a link. We have to send it to you, but there's a new way of getting in and just some things that I want to clear up about getting into the Discord server because it's not really all that bad as some people think about it, but sometimes they think that it's a little bit more impossible. Well, we're going to clear all that up right now with a little discussion with Natasha and kind of clearing up the situation. All right. So we're going to bring her back. We're going to have a discussion here. We're going to talk about the Discord server. And then that should be the podcast. And we'll be welcoming your comments soon. All right. All right. Here we go. All right, guys. So we have Natasha here, and she wanted to talk about something important. So here she is. And Natasha, what did you want to talk to us about?
So now we need to talk about the elephant in the room.
Wait a second. What exactly does that mean? Elephant in the room. I guess I don't exactly get what you're jiving at.
Alex.
Oh, yeah. The part that I wasn't too thrilled about, unfortunately.
So he has done a lot of offenses in the Discord server.
Yeah, he has. Unfortunately, and I gave him quite a lot of chances before having to remove him.
Recently, after being banned, he attempted to put a copyright strike on your YouTube channel. Is this right?
Yeah, yeah. There's some things that I want to cover, actually, about the Discord server. There is a lot of things going around that I may not be the greatest owner to a Discord server and that I don't always do things right. Like, for example, if somebody does something wrong, I may fly off the handle, go from 0 to 100. And I'll admit, at one point I was, but I learned to stop doing that. I learned to be a little bit more lenient in some situations, and particularly this one. Before he can go out there and say, oh, Raph did this to me, Raph did that to me, and I'm out of this server that I've been in for a long time. I want you to understand I gave him a lot of chances. He was acting like a staff member. I didn't ban him for that. He would sometimes give out bad advice when it comes to legends that made me react at times. In what universe? Like when he was saying, if you're at level 45 and the rest of your roster isn't caught up before you can go above level 45, you got to work on the rest of your roster. It's like, in what universe? A person has a choice to go above level 45 if they want to. You have all the freedom of choice in the world in this game. It's an RPG game. You want to take your characters to higher levels, okay. And at times, he was just really direct. And it's like, can you show a little bit of emotion? Do you have to be so direct where if somebody inquires about something, you just shut them down and this is the right way and this is the be all end all say all? What is up with that? And still, after all of this, I did not ban him or remove him from the server. I kept on thinking, you know what? He's gonna change. He's gonna get better. Let's just drop it, leave it. Technically, he isn't doing anything wrong. Let's just leave it and move on. But it got worse. The only thing that you could really talk to this guy about and be on a cool level is school cancellations and how long the winter break was this last year because of it. Winter break 2023 to 2024. And, well, he was insisting that kids at elementary school age could walk home from school in these rough weather conditions. No. But you know what? That was like the only thing that he was talking about. I still would not have removed him from the server. I probably would have told him enough is enough. Just stop. But I took into account all the other things that he has done in here. And it all added up. And when I talked to a few other members in the Discord server and told them what all he did, they agreed that I gave him too many chances and that he needed to be gone a long time ago. I want to make something clear about the Discord server. I want you guys to feel when you come into the Discord server that it is a fun place to go, a safe place to go, a place where if you feel like you want to say something, you can say it and not have to feel like you're going to get in trouble or you're going to get banned for saying it. Now, maybe in some cases you can kind of overdo it when you can kind of look at a tier list and answer some of your own questions. But at the same time, we want you to feel like you can come in here and talk to us like we're your friend. And whatever you say to us is not going to turn into, oh, why did you say that? Now we're going to kick you out and remove you. We don't want it to be like that. We want it to be welcoming when you come in here, safe and fun, and you can feel like you can have your freedom of speech. And you don't have to feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't say this. They're not going to like what I have to say. And I feel at times Alex was downplaying that. I feel like at times Alex was making others feel like they couldn't talk or say what they was going to say because he was just going to come back and say, no, this is the way that it is. Acting like the be all end all say all. Where it's like, oh, geez, all right. I guess I just won't say anything. Gonna respond like that. So then they would feel like they couldn't say as much. Well, we got that situation out of there. So I hope everybody feels like they can come into the server and talk, say what they want to say, feel welcome, and feel like we're all friends in here. And not have to feel like if I say something, is it going to backfire on me? I really hope for that. Getting back to your question, though, Natasha, about him attempting to put a copyright strike on my YouTube channel, that is correct. He did. I posted a video that was mine. It was not his at all. But I guess he was so mad at being banned that he attempted to say, no, that's my video. So he told YouTube. YouTube believed him, and YouTube said, pending removal, that I either need to delete this or it's going to be removed by a certain day, and I was going to get a copyright strike on my channel. People can't just take their ban and move on. They have to try to downgrade others' success, and that's exactly what Alex was doing here.
Congratulations on getting over 100 subscribers.
Over 1100? Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. Yes, I do have over 1100 subscribers, and I'm really happy for each and every one of you. I'm really happy that you have decided to sub to my channel and give it as much attention as you give it. I don't really feel like I deserve it, but I really do appreciate it in the end. So, thank you.
Can you show us the video that he was getting the strike on your channel?
Yes, I can. Give me just 1 second to pull it up here. All right, I'm going to show everybody from beginning to end the exact video that he was claiming was his and was saying that it was not mine. You take a look at this video and you judge and decide for yourself. Here we go.
Everything in that video definitely belongs to you. Some people just need to take their ban and leave others alone, especially those like you who have achieved success in the social media world. He
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, that is true. Everything in that video does belong to me. It is not his video. I kind of feel like any future videos that I do, I'm going to have to talk a lot in them so that it can be proven that it's mine. Or I may even have to show my face. I don't usually show my face in these videos, but I may have to start doing that too, just to prove that it's mine. You know, I watch some YouTubers do videos, and I often wonder, why are you talking so much? You don't need to feel like you gotta say something every 5 seconds. We get it. You're playing a game. I can easily see that. You don't need to speak every 5 minutes on what's on your mind as soon as a thought comes into your head. But then you look at this. You look at this copyright strike that he attempted to put on a video that was mine. And then you start to see, yeah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to start putting that on there and doing a lot more talking so that it proves that this is my video and call on the play by play as I see it, everything that's going on, my thoughts, my reactions, everything, just so that I can prove that this is my video and not his. It's crazy that we have to do that, isn't it? A person shouldn't feel like they gotta overdo it in talking as if they're kind of some sports announcer in a football game, talking every 5 seconds, play by play action, reactions, responses, everything, just so that they can prove that the video is theirs, so that somebody else can't come along and shit on it and give you a copyright strike, take your success, take everything you're building up and just knock it down just because they got kicked out of a Discord server. Okay. There was something else you said that he did, Natasha. What was it?
messaged Morbid saying that you shouldn't steal other people's videos and to ask, it was your video. What is he on?
I don't know. Yeah, he did message Morbid. You shouldn't steal other people's videos, and you should ask before you take them. I would have gladly shared it. Okay, but I didn't take your video. This was my video. Shall I show it again? Everybody want to see it again? This was my video. You can clearly see how high level the characters are. That's from my roster. Besides all of my logos all over it, the video is mine. Those characters that I worked so hard to get up in levels on my roster, that's my roster. That is not yours. So why are you telling YouTube, you take my video? Are you mad that you got kicked out of the server? Are you are you angry at someone else's success? Well, what is this? You gotta take their success down because you can't just take your ban and go? Are you mad? Do you feel anger? Do you feel like calm it down, dude? Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody cares. Take your ban and go away. We don't, we don't need this from you. What are you on? Right, Natasha?
Other people in the Discord has said you gave him way too many chances and he still didn't get the hint to stop.
Right. He didn't. What's up with that? Why didn't you get the hint to stop? Why didn't it come across your mind? Why couldn't you just quit? What is going on?
In the end, he acted like he wanted to see what more he could do before you would finally say enough is enough to it all and tell him it is at the end.
Right. And I finally just had to say, go. Enough. Get out of here. It, it really brings an honest headache. It really does. How much this guy has turned into a Kai. How much this guy has turned into an online troll that can't just stop and leave and has to keep going. Has to do one last thing before he exits out of here. Really, dude? You are better off with Kai. You go and join him, and you two can talk about the World Cup all day. Because we don't need this in here. We don't need you acting like this in here and giving everybody such a miserable time. I mean, really, what is going on with this here? I really don't get it.
So now he can just join Kai and talk about the World Cup all day.
Yeah, you can. I wonder if Kai still listens to my YouTube channel. If he does, I hope he gets this message. Alex isn't in the Discord server anymore. It's okay, you can invite him into yours. Go ahead and take him. Talk about the World Cup. Have your little fun there. Any last things you wanted to say about this, Natasha?
Yes, I hope this message reaches both of them too. It needs to. They need to for real.
Yeah, I hope it reaches both of them as well. I hope that now seeing this video, Alex, you see that this is my video, not yours. Nobody's trying to take from you. And yes, to answer the community's question, sometime later, I will be re-uploading the video. I just wanted to get the podcast out there first, but yes, that video will get re-uploaded. And this time, Alex, you will leave it alone. Even if I gotta do a little play-by-play in it and talk about it and give some thoughts in it just to make the video seem more like mine, I'll do that. That's fine. No problem. Get it out there. We'll make it happen. But just want to get back to the Discord server real quick here, just before I end everything, because we're getting to the end of the podcast here. It's been great. It's been wonderful. I'm really glad that this thing is continuing, and hopefully we can continue it on more in the future with other things to talk about. This has been great so far. Um, yeah, to get into the server, you have to message a staff member first. We are making a permanent link, but it just doesn't mean that you can just click on the link and come in. You still have to speak to one of us first. We still have to vouch for you. Talk to myself, talk to Morbid, talk to Effdash, talk to Scruffy, and one of us has to vouch for you that we talked to you prior to you coming in. You try to say, oh, I talked to Morbid, and Morbid says, no, I never talked to this guy, messenger, nothing. Then you're coming in, you're lying. Talk to one of us first. We'll have a little interview for you just to make sure you're not banned a member and make sure you're not trying to come in here causing any problems. We'll send the link over to you. You let us know who invited you so they can vouch for you. And agree to the rules. After you read them, please read them first. Agree to the rules after that, and then post your roster if you want access to the Legends chat. Now, if you don't want to have access to the Legends chat, we do talk about other things. We talk about Mario, Fortnite, the Star Wars game we talk about, and Pokemon games, and other TMNT games for the consoles. Plenty to talk about. We even have an open topics where you can talk about anything. Talk about the outside weather for all I care. If you just want access to those, you don't have to submit a roster. You can just agree to the rules, have one of us vouch for you, that you're not a band member, BANNED, band, and that you're not a troublemaker. and agree to the rules, and we'll roll you access to that much of the server except for the Legends chat. You want the Legends chat, submit the roster, and we'll get you to that part as well too. And it's that easy. And like I said, please feel free to come into a friendly environment. Don't feel like somebody is going to get at you or cause you to not have freedom of speech, that you can't ask a question. It may be good to review the community guides, the tier lists, some of our old YouTube videos, if you're trying to see who the best character is. But by all means, feel free to come and talk, say hi, say happy to be here, show us your best characters and legends, or just talk about your favorite Mario game, whatever, or just your favorite game in general. Doesn't necessarily have to be Mario. And just, you're coming into a safe, friendly environment, and a fun one as well too. So have fun, feel safe, everything. You'll like it, and you'll be happy to be here. So I hope that clears up things about the Discord server, just in case you might have felt like, is it really okay to be here? Yeah, it is. It more than is. It's fun, safe, everything. You know, come on in, have some fun. Happy to have you be part of the Discord server, be a part of the community. And who knows, might have you as a sample on a future podcast. Don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to send your samples. Don't be afraid to comment on the video. Don't be afraid to comment on the video. Any thoughts about the Legends game, good or bad? We'll read them in a future podcast setting. And just be a part of the community and just have fun. Participate. All right? We're happy to have you and we're glad to see you. So, thus concludes the end of this podcast. And we'll do this again in a future podcast. All right? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, stay alert, and stay tuned for more videos to watch. All right? Thank you for tuning in. Take it easy. This has been yet another TMNT podcast. This is a Fatal Wrath channel. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next time in a future video and a future podcast. Thank you.